Yes, guys, today I'm here with
Chris.
Miles.
Shania.
Today we're going to be doing a football podcast, and I'm going to be asking these lot some questions about the Premier League and some topics about Spanish football. How do you think the Premier League season has gone so far?
I think the Premier League season was alright, you know. It really depends what type of club you support. For example, I support Tottenham Hotspur. It wasn't a very good season for me. So, you know, I'll say I don't really enjoy it that much as others may have, you know. But yeah.
Miles, what about you?
Well, from a Millwall fan's point of view, it was a good season, I suppose. West Ham finished 14th and Leeds went down, so it was alright. It was a good season for me.
Okay, so thank you for that, Miles. Shania, what about you?
For a Man United fan, it was exciting seeing Ten Hag come in and do what he's done already compared to last season when we had Ralph Rangnick, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It just wasn't nice to watch the games, especially because I go up to Manchester quite a lot. And it just, you could feel it in the stadium. The atmosphere just wasn't the same as it used to be. But this season we have pushed on. We won the Carabao Cup, lost to City in the final. But yeah, it's just good.
Okay, thank you for that. So, you see Arsenal, were you surprised about how they slipped up just near the end? Chris?
Nah, I wasn't really surprised because I kind of thought they didn't really have the squad depth to match and like go against Manchester City, which obviously Manchester City is probably one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team. So yeah, it was very hard for them to compete.
Okay, thank you for that. Miles, what do you think?
If I'm honest, I was a little bit surprised because they were just flying, and I thought they'll have it wrapped up by March, but they didn't.
Thank you for that, Miles. Shania, what do you think?
I was surprised by Arsenal, but I knew throughout the season they would slip up because if you've seen in previous seasons, that's all they do. For example, last season, they went away to Newcastle, bottled it, which gave Tottenham the place in the top 4.
Right, thank you. That was some very good information. So, do you think any players stood out this season?
Harry Kane, you know, I'll say Harry Kane because obviously I feel like he was very overshadowed actually. He was very overshadowed because he had 30 goals in that Tottenham side as well. I don't think Haaland could do that. So I think, yeah, it's a very good achievement, you know, a very good personal achievement. I think we can lead on for it, you know.
Right, thank you. That's some very good points. Alright, Miles, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Granit Xhaka because I know there's a few people that might disagree with that, but I think that he played decently well, and I don't think anyone really expected him to play like that. But he wasn't the greatest player, but he was still an underrated player.
Right, thank you for that, Miles. Shania, what about you?
For me, William Saliba came into Arsenal's back line and just changed them completely. You could see up until the point where he got injured, that's when they fell off. Since then, we've seen what's happened. They didn't win the league. Their defence was shaky and Gabriel couldn't hold it down.
Right, thank you. Some very good points again. So, in Spain, there's been multiple racial abuse to players such as Vinicius Jr. Do you think the officials can do anything to try and change it, try and stop players?
Honestly, you know, it's a very crazy subject. You know, it's like you really don't know what could really be changed. You know, a lot can be changed, but it's really not as easy as people think. You know, maybe match bans, obviously, just stadium bans. I don't think there's really much more they could really do. You know.
All right, thank you for that. That was some very good points. Miles, what about you? Do you think there's any way to try and stop this abuse to players?
Yeah, definitely. Like what Chris said, you know, there's definitely things that can change it. But in the Spanish league, after seeing what the chief guy said, I don't think he wanted to. What's the punishment going to do? People are just going to pay out their stadium ban and then go back and be racist again. I don't know. There's definitely points that it can change it, but it needs to change, 100%.
Right, thank you for that, Miles. So, Shania, what about you? Do you think there's any way to change that type of abuse to players?
For me, of course, there's always a change, but it's not that simple. Football fans get very upset when their team's losing and they don't know how to control themselves. just because they ban 5 people doesn't mean the next 5 people won't be racist. It's just going to continue and continue and continue until there's a legal law where you cannot be racist.
Right, thank you for that. So I have a couple more questions for you guys. So, do you think that the racial abuse is affecting the players on the pitch?
Personally, I think it's all about the mindset and the characteristics that the player has. You know, everyone has their own cards, and they have to just use it to their advantage. You know, maybe a confident person wouldn't really mind it. They could just, but maybe someone that's, you know, doesn't really have that much high of a self-esteem, and it can affect their play. You know, it really just depends who it is. You know.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you just said. So thank you for that. Miles, what about you?
It can affect someone in many different ways, mentally, but I think some players would want to play and then maybe score the next game and actually shut them fans up, because, I mean, why wouldn't you? But it can really affect a player mentally.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I feel like if a player just scored, they'll just get the respect they need. So, Shania, what about you?
For me, it depends on the player's mentality and how confident they are in themselves and their own game. As you saw with Sancho, he went to the Euros, missed the penalty, hasn't been the same since. You know, he had to go away for 3 months on holiday, come back, still not hitting the ground running. But someone like Rashford, he's had the best season. He's had his Man United career, scoring 30 goals since Robin van Persie left the club. Yeah, so it just depends who you are.
Okay, yeah. To round up the podcast, we've had very big transfers like Ronaldo transferring from Man United to Al Nassr, and we've had players such as Messi. He's literally just left PSG, so, and Benzema, he's moved to a Saudi Arabian team. I don't know the name of it, but he's moved recently. So what do you guys have to say about that?
What do I have to say about that? As I see it from, or I'm trying to see it from, you know, maybe a Saudi Arabian side, you know, or view, you know, I feel like they're just trying to build the league, you know, not all the time, like, there has to be European dominance, you know, they're just trying to see something new, and they're bringing big players which can attract some of the young players who follow them as idols in order to build a, you know, a type of dynasty in Saudi Arabia, you know.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, so thank you for that. Miles, what about you? What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I think they're being paid a little bit too much. £100 million a year. £100 million a year. I worked it out, it's like 17 grand an hour. It's just mad. But listen, I think they're doing, I like what Saudi Arabian side are doing. They're bringing in these big players, as Chris said, and yeah, but I'm hoping, not what he said, that the young players don't follow them, because we need some sort of quality in the Premier League.
Right, thank you for that. That was some very good points as well. Shania, what about you? What do you have to say about all of this?
For me, I feel that Ronaldo deserves to go and retire in Saudi Arabia. He's been playing football for how many years now? He deserves this money, he deserves all this fame and all the gossip. But Messi, I'm a bit disappointed, I must say. At 35, Ronaldo wasn't going to America to retire. But Messi is just a Barcelona player. That's where he can do it. That's where he's best.
All right, well, thank you for that, Shania. So just to finish it up, do you think football as a whole is just going to, once all of these big players like Messi, Ronaldo, Benzema, all these really big players retire, do you think football is still going to be entertaining? Or?
Yes. Why would it not be entertaining? You're a football fan. You're not a Ronaldo fan. You're not a Messi fan. You're a football fan.
Yeah, true on that point, you know. If you really are into football and more the football than the individual players, you know, it will just carry on, you know. It's a cycle. You're going to find new players, find new teams to like, and it just stays like that.
Right, yes, Mars, what about you? Do you think football is going to keep people entertained, you know, like with the new young talents? Or you feel like Messi, Ronaldo, them type of people, they could only keep the game entertaining?
I mean, come on now, football doesn't revolve around Messi, Ronaldo. You've got big young prodigies, you know. 17-year-old Romain Esse at Millwall. He's, honestly, he will go far. And got the likes of them, you know. The young players in the Premier League now as well, you know. Lewis Hall at Chelsea, very good player. Ethan Ranieri at Arsenal, very good player.
Alright. Well, thank you guys all for these really amazing points. I'll catch you guys in the next one.